You ever notice how weird it feels when an NPC just stands there, doing nothing? Sure, they're not supposed to attack yet, but they just kind of exist. It's a little lifeless, right? So today, I thought, why not make them a little more alive? Instead of just standing still, we're gonna have them wander around, check out their surroundings, look like they actually care about the world. We're gonna build a basic NPC wandering system using Behavior Designer Pro. First, we'll break it down into an easy 4-step plan. Get everything set up, and then jump into a live coding demo and put it all together. Let's get into it. Here's the 4-step plan. First, we'll set up the NPC's movement, creating a radius and picking a random destination. Second, we'll draw a gizmo in the scene so we can actually see it working. Third, we'll have the NPCs idle for a bit once they reach a spot. And fourth, we'll reset everything so they can keep wandering over and over again. Alright, for the scene setup, here's what I'm using. Behavior Designer Pro, Unity's character controller, and the Unity AI navigation package. The navigation package gives us the Unity NavMesh system, which we'll use for pathfinding. If you happen to have a star pathfinding project, that's another great option too. I actually use it for a lot of my own projects, and it is a fantastic tool. But for today, we're keeping it simple. We'll focus on Behavior Designer Pro with Unity's built-in NavMesh. Also, if you're using the original Behavior Designer, not the Pro version, no worries. You can still follow along. You'll just need to tweak a few things slightly to make it work. In the background, you'll see that I'm actually running the wandering script in both the original version and the Pro version. So no matter which one you have, you'll be able to get this working. To start off, I already have a base scene with a terrain added and a game object tracked as my NPC ready. First, let's create a new game object, and we're going to call it NavMesh. Add a NavMesh service component to it, and then go ahead and hit bake. If you miss a spot like I did over here, just turn the objects off and hit bake again to fix it. Next, create a new child game object under your NPC, and name it Behavior Tree. Add your first component and search for a behavior tree to attach it. Once it's added, you can hit open on the right hand side to bring out the Behavior Designer graph editor. Then on the graph editor, hit the space key so we can search for our repeater node and our sequence node. Our repeater will keep running our tree over and over again and attach the lines to the repeater and the sequence. Then in the scripts folder, create a scripts folder, create an NPC wander folder, and add 2 scripts to it. One is NPC wander, and the second is enemy action. NPC wander is going to hold the bulk of our code, while enemy action is going to act as our base script. Then when you're ready, open the NPC wander script so we can get started. At this point, we want to do a few things. I have my NPC wander script open and my enemy action script. First thing I want to do is make my NPC wander inherit from enemy action, and make my enemy action inherit from action. Action should inherit from Ops's Behavior Designer runtime. Make sure it inherits from here and not the systems library. Ops doesn't use a normal start and update, and instead is set up to use onAwake and onStart. We're going to add our NavMesh agent as our first agent, and make sure the agent grabs its component from the parent like I show here. This isn't required, but I like to encapsulate my classes in a namespace to help me keep everything nice and organized. This will be the first part in our 4-step plan, moving the enemy within a given radius. Then, I'm going to add an onStart method and introduce the share variable flow of radius and a vector3 starting position. This will act like an invisible leash between our player and the starting position. I'm also going to add some pseudocode along the way so it's a bit easier to follow along. In the onUpdate method, we want the NPC to determine a new destination. However, we only want to do it on certain conditions. So at first, we're only going to do it when our destination position is 0. That way, it checks every frame, but this part will only run when it needs to. Next, we want to find the next point within our radius and set that vector3 as our destination. If you're using A* path, you can replace this line with your A* destination. Next, we want to create our getRandomPoint in sphere. So first we want to generate a random point within our unit sphere, and we can do that by using Unity Engine's random inside unit sphere, and multiply that by our radius. Since we're only dealing with a flat plane with no obstacles, we also want to adjust the y value to use our starting point y value. Otherwise, you can research obstacle avoidance and raycast down a new position for your y value. Then for our destination, we want to assign our starting point x and z values with our generated destinations x and z values, and use that to create a new vector3 to assign to our new destination. Finally, we want to return our new destination, as that will get us the random point in sphere that we're looking for. Then, we need to route our NPC wander to our behavior tree graph by pressing the space key and searching for NPC wander. We can attach NPC wander to our sequence node and hit play mode to see how this runs in the game. As we can see, our NPC now searches for a new destination and moves there along the NavMesh. I'm going to disable our NavMesh and move on. We're going to move our vector3 destination to the top of the script as it's a bit out of place. Then, introduce our override for onDraw Gizmos. This will get us started with step 2 out of 4 of our plan. Now, onDraw Gizmos won't work on Behavior Designer Pro without enabling a certain toggle. This toggle is located in Task and called Receive Draw Gizmos Callback. By default, this is set to false as it can cause performance issues and doesn't use reflection to determine if the method should be called or not. Please keep this in mind for your future projects. For this tutorial, however, I want to enable Gizmos for educational purposes. Once that's enabled, we can go back to our NPC wander script and write our draw area wandering method. This method will use our radius value to draw a circle around our starting location, so we can see where our NPC moves to each location. In my scene, we can see that the radius moving around with the NPC. That's because the radius is updating every frame in the onStart method due to the repeater. We can fix this by moving the starting point to onAwake method instead, as it's only called when the object is first awakened. We should be able to move around our NPC cube at different positions via its X and Z axis, and see that the starting point changes on every single run. This is how we can verify that it's working correctly. Now that we've reached our destination, we want our NPC to start idling for X amount of time before searching for a new position. We won't be able to effectively test this until we hit step 4, however. Let's start by creating our next script called the idle at destination. Let's start by erasing all the model behavior template code. Then, we can write our first shared variable has reached destination. Has reached destination will be used to tell us if we've reached the destination yet or not. If we have, we want to start idling. This will trigger our isNPC idling method next. In our NPC idling method, we want to create a wait timer. The wait timer is used to tell us how much time has passed on every frame. If we're still waiting for the idle time to pass, we want to return a task status of running to tell the tree not to continue yet. We still have work to do. Once we're done, we're going to reset the current wait timer back to 0 and return false. This way, we can return a true statement and continue waiting. Back on our behavior tree graph, we want to add our isIdleAtDestination node and connect it as the next step in our sequence. You'll notice that our max wait time is visible in the Behavior Designer Inspector. We want to set the value of this to 3 so the NPC will idle for 3 seconds before moving to the next position. Once we hit play, we can see the sequence activated in the graph. As you can see, our NPC reaches the destination, but then just kind of stops. That's because we still need to reset our variables so the NPC knows to search for a new destination. And that brings us to part 4. Reset everything and kick off the next wandering cycle. In our idle destination script, we want to add a new Boolean shared variable of resetWander. When the NPC stops idling, we want to set our resetWander variable to true to reset all of our variables again. Now we need to modify our behavior graph to reset our variables. In the node inspector, you'll see 2 shared variables from our idleAtDestination node. One is hasReachDestination and the other is resetWander. We want to add both of these variables to our graph inspector. To do that, we'll take the shared variables from the node inspector and recreate them as graph variables. Once that's set up, you can click the small dot next to each shared variable and link it to the graph variables we just made. After that, we're ready to create a new set of sequences that will help us reset our variables so the NPC can start wandering again. We want to add a sequence node, then add a bool compare node, then add a setBool node. Next, we want to add a sequence node as the parent of our other 2 sequence nodes. The bool compare is used to compare our resetWander and check if it's true. If it's true, we're going to reset our variables in the setBool node. In our setBool node, we want to leave value as not checked and set store results as resetWander. Then we want to add a stacked setBool node and add another setBool node. The second node is for has reached destination, and we want to set this as false. Now you should be able to swap between both nodes and see that they're both set to false. We need to head back to our NPC wander script and add a has reached destination shared variable. We are also going to add a new method in our onUpdate called check within range. Check within range will check if we are within range of the destination we set earlier. If has reached destination is true, there's no reason to continue. It's already true. Then we want to do a distance check between us and the destination we marked earlier. If we are, we want to set has reached destination as true. Switch back to our idle at destination script, and we're going to add a has reached destination is false check. If it's false, we shouldn't be checking this node. We should also add a null check for good measure. Now, let's switch back to Unity and check on our behavior tree. If we click our NPC wander node, we should see a new shared variable of has reached destination has been added. We want to assign our graph variable to our newly added has reached destination shared variable. Once assigned, we can check on our nodes for any missing assignments. We should now be able to hit play mode and notice that nothing is happening, no matter how much I toggle. The reason is that our reset wander node starts as false, so the sequence can never pass the first Boolean compare node. Check reset wander to true and hit play. You should notice that we have a new problem. The reset wander is false again. That's because we just reset our variables, so the repeater re-triggers our Boolean compare on the next frame, causing an endless loop of task failed responses. We're going to ignore this temporarily and come back to this. Back in our NPC wander script, we're going to add one more shared variable of canGetNewDestination. Our determineDestinationPoint method can't assign a new value anymore because our destination is never 0, so we need another way. We should add this new variable to our checkWithinRange method. If canGetNewDestination is true, return. We shouldn't continue. I'm going to move some of my newly added code back to the top of the script and add a few new tooltips to give our shared variables a bit more clarity. Now, switch back to Unity and let's check out our behavior graph. In our graph, if we select our NPC wander node, we now have a new shared variable of canGetNewDestination. We need to add this to our graph variables and make a new assignment. Now, we need to select our reset variable and add a new Boolean stack for canGetNewDestination. This way, canGetNewDestination should reset on every trigger. Now, let's deal with our earlier reset variable problem. What should happen is NPC wander will start and set our has reached destination to true, which triggers idle at destination. Idle at destination sets reset wander to true, which should then reset our variables. Then the loop continues. If we hit play, we can recreate our earlier problem and notice that the NPC moved once, but the Boolean compare keeps failing. What we want to do is make the left sequence return always true so the NPC wander can then take over. We can do that by introducing a new node called returnSuccess. Add the returnSuccess node in between the parent sequence node and the child sequence node. No matter what happens, we always want this to be true. We can hit play and check out the behavior graph again. Now our graph should be running green, however our NPC only moved once, and isn't moving anymore even though the graph is green again. This is due to a simple mistake I made on the reset variables. Switch back to the reset variables node and select our latest setBool stack of canGetNewDestination. This needs to be true to allow our NPC wander to trigger correctly. Then hit play again and we should see our NPC navigating to a new position, pausing for a few seconds, then find a new position again to navigate to. And the NPC will continue this loop over and over or until you add some logic to disrupt it. And that's just a start. You can take this NPC wander system and expand it, build it into a full patrol system, or even have your NPCs wander until they spot the player and then snap into patrol mode afterwards. Totally up to you. You can make it as simple or as crazy as you want. If you're into this kind of game dev content, feel free to hit that like button, maybe subscribe too. It really helps out a ton. Thanks for hanging out with me, and I'll see you in the next one. Laters. I'll say bye.